All right. Once you're settled and the breath's moving nice and deep, you can release the arms to the side. So have the arms alongside the body. Bend the knees one at a time to place the feet flat on the floor. So if they're not already there, they might already be there, but feet flat on the floor when you're ready. First, we're going to get the arms moving. So the arms, we're going to breathe in and we're going to take them up and over the head, all the way to the floor above you. Big stretch up and over. As you breathe out, bring the arms back up over the head, back down to the sides. Perfect. Keep going with that. Breathing in, going up. Breathing out, coming down. Just seeing how shoulders are reacting to the movement today. Your breath can guide you. This might feel like an easy movement this morning, or it might feel like there's some sticking or some clunkiness to it. If that's the case, just take it slower. Doing great. Let's just do a couple more. Maybe with slightly more active arms, if that's allowed. So if arms are able to do so, you might want to do some spread fingers, spread palms. Good. Very nice. Let's do one last one with the arms finishing down by the sides. Once you've got the arms down by the sides, just check in with your lower back. Is it still connected to the floor? We want to make sure it's really well grounded. And then we'll tuck the feet in a little bit closer towards your hips. So have the feet a little bit closer towards the pelvis. Once you've got the feet in that little bit closer, make sure that they are hip width apart. So you want about your hip width between your feet. Can't see your feet, which is understandable because your body's in the way. Check what your knees are doing. Your knees are hip width apart and your feet are directly beneath them, and your feet will be hip width apart as well. Let's start with a lovely deep breath in for this next one. As you breathe out, round the lower back into the mat. So actively press down that lower back into the mat. As you breathe in, press down through the feet and lift the hips up towards the ceiling. We're getting a bit of lift, the hips, the pelvis coming off the floor. As you breathe out, bring the hips back down again, dropping them down, grounding that lower back. As you breathe in, lifting up again. Good. Breathing out, coming down. Keep going, keep breathing, and see if you can encourage the lower back to refind, reground, reconnect to the floor every time you breathe out, as much of the back as possible, but especially the lower back, really connecting to the floor every time you breathe out. These look good. Notice if your arms are getting involved, if they're trying to help you out with the lift, with the push. If they are, that's fine. Great. Lovely. If you want to keep using your arms to help with that lift, then go ahead. But if you want the arms to work a bit more strongly and get the back joining in a bit more fully, then we can try and take the arms up and over the head as we breathe in. Same arm movement as before, coming over and down as we breathe out. But now we're combining it with that hip lift. So that might work for you, or you might do one or two and think, actually, that's not my lower back today, it doesn't work, it doesn't feel great. In which case, do it. Good. Excellent. Very nice. Lovely. All right, let's make that our last one, lifting with the hips. Once you've got the hips down and the arms down by the sides, keep breathing. We're going to use the next in-breath to bring the right knee in towards the chest and then extend that right leg up towards the ceiling. As you breathe out, bend that knee again and place it on the floor. And then we'll do the left leg. Breathing in, knee in, leg up. Breathing out, knee in, foot down. Right leg, knee in, leg up. Breathing out, knee in, foot down. And then the left leg. And so on and so forth. Good. If you'd like to bring the arms back in, feel free. If you're feeling brave and your lower back feels good and grounded and secure this morning, you might want to try a few double leg raises. You might want to try it with both legs at once. Only if that feels like a good idea. You know, you might do one and actually your lower back says no thanks, and that's fine. Return to single legs. But if you want a couple of double leg raises, with or without the arms are going to be optional. Very good. Perfect. Last one, if you're doing alternate legs, finish on the left. You're doing your double legs, then just do one more. Fantastic. Once we've got those feet down on the floor and grounded again, make sure those feet are hip width apart, knees hip width apart. Soles of the feet really well grounded, toes spread as well. Let's get the heels tucking back in a little bit closer towards the hips. When you're ready for another hip lift, let's go. Breathe in, lift the hips, optional arms. Breathe out, release the hips. And now it's a leg lift. If you're doing alternate legs, start with the right. If you're doing double legs, do both legs. Breathing it out to come down. And then it's time for another hip lift. So make sure those feet are well arranged. Breathe in, lift the hips. Breathe out, release them down. And then it's time for the legs again. So we do a double leg lift, or you did the right side last time, do your left leg this time. And then making sure the feet land in the right place so that we can do a hip lift, and then a leg lift, and then a hip lift, and then a leg, and then a hip, leg, and then a hip. You got it. Optional arms. So arms might be doing some extra up and over. Good. Lovely stuff. If you're doing your double leg raises, do one more. Finish with a hip lift. If you're doing your single leg raises, finish with the left again because we started with the right. But finish with a hip lift. When you've done your final hip lift and you're back down on the mat, we will bring the knees in over the chest and give ourselves a really good squeeze, hug, rock, roll around. Lower back might need a really good rolling out. Fab. All right. Place the feet back on the floor, still at hip width with the feet. Take the arms out to shoulder level now, so reach them out to either side of you. As always, if there's not quite enough room, you can do your cactus arms. And then we'll breathe in. As you breathe out, knees to the right, so heavy legs are just going to release right side. As you breathe in, knees back to center. And as you breathe out, knees to the left. Good, breathe in, knees to center. Keep going. Keep breathing. You know this movement pretty well. It's our crocodile twist. So see if you can keep focused on it, because when it's something we do often, when it's something we know really well, when it's something we're very familiar with, then sometimes we can sort of just do the movement automatically and brain drifts off. See if you can stay focused, stay in the movement. One last bit of side to side. Good. Once you've done a last one to the left, because we started on the right, we're back to center. I would like you very much to bring your knees in towards your chest again. So do hold on to the legs, one hand on each knee. And then we're going to do some circles. We're going to do one big circle, but we're going to do it with the legs coming apart. So start with one hand on each knee, squeeze the knees in towards the chest, and then take them apart. Take the legs away from each other, and then take them down towards the bottom end of your mat. Bring the knees back together and squeeze them in over the chest again. Big slow circle, taking the knees apart and away from you, down towards the bottom end of your mat, and then back together and squeeze them in over the chest. And keep going. They go apart, down, together, apart and away and down, and then back together and then in. Keep going with this circle like this. That's it. Legs moving independently. You can use as much or as little support with the hands as you'd like. So as much or as little support with the hands as you want. Good. Can we change direction? Can we go the other way around our big circle so the knees start together, move away from you, and then come apart and go out and up, and then in together, away from you, apart, back together and in. Good. You got it. These look fab. Lovely work. Really nice. Last one of these. And finish with the knees together. Don't rush to get there, of course. Finish with the knees together. We're going to do an extra twist in here. So take the arms out to shoulder level, keeping the knees pressing together, keeping the inner edges of the feet pressing together if we can. Breathe in here, and as you breathe out, knees are going to go to the right. They're not going to touch the floor. They're going to go towards it, but they're not going to touch it. As you breathe in, bring the knees back together. And as you breathe out, knees to the left. And then we do it again, breathing into center, breathing out to the right, breathing into center, breathing out to the left. There's a stronger twist than the one we've already done, so be mindful, don't go too far if it doesn't feel good. Allowing the spine to lengthen and to twist. Once you've had one more to each side, we started with a movement to the right, so finish with a movement to the left. Come back to center, and once you're back at center this time, with the hands, one hand on each knee, just give yourself a couple of squeezes, so Upanasana, when we breathe in, and as you breathe out, you squeeze the knees down towards the chest. As you breathe in, you let the knees float a little bit away, find some space, and as you breathe out, squeeze again. Do a few of those. If you want to do the stronger version, the head can squeeze up towards the knees as you breathe out. So you make yourself into a really tight little ball, really squeeze up small, if you like. Once we've done a couple more of those, release the feet to the floor, roll to one side, and come up to sitting. We're not going to stay sitting. We're going to come straight over onto hands and knees. So pop yourself onto your hands and knees using lovely, comfortable support. So make sure that knees are going to be happy on whatever surface you're practicing on this morning. Lovely. Good. So once you've found your way to hands and knees, make it a square or a box position. We're going to launch straight into some disco cats, some bigger shapes, some bigger circles. So Imagine a circle in the air above the tailbone, and we'll get the tailbone, the sacrum, the back of the pelvis moving around that circle. So see if we can get some circling happening here with the hips. Fab. Go the other way. Circle opposite direction. Very good. Lovely. Fantastic circles. Brilliant. Bringing it back to center. We're going to tuck the toes under, and we're going to give our toes a little stretch. So be careful of toes. We don't want to overload them. So tuck the toes and just sit the hips back a little bit towards those heels. You might want to walk the hands in a bit closer towards the knees if that feels like a good stretch for the toes. You want to make it stronger. Some of you might be able to sit all the way up. That's fine. If you're a sitter upper here, then go for it. But this early in the morning, my toes don't quite enjoy that. So I'm going to stay here. Back out onto the hands and then flatten out the feet. So tops of the toes. Imagine if you can, all 10 toenails coming down to the mat now. And do the same. Sit back. Weight going into the tops of the feet. Hips to heels. Again, you might be a sitter upper, or that might not be you this morning. Might not be what knees are happy with. You just die. Good. Lovely. Very nice. Let's bring it back onto hands and knees. A little bit of a shakeout. You might want to do some drumming on the floor with your feet to wriggle them out. That might feel like a good idea. We're going to come up to downward dog now. So tuck the toes again. Sink the hips back to the heels. Stretch the arms further forwards. And then push through the legs to lift the hips all the way up to the ceiling. You're going to give yourself a lovely stretch out in downward dog. And once you're there, give it a walk out. So paddling out the legs, walking on the spot, walking the dog. Very good. Perfect. And now from the dog, we're going to come to forward fold, Uttanasana. So walk the hands to the feet or the feet to the hand, doesn't matter. We want to get ourselves onto the feet now. So the weight wants to be entirely through the soles of our feet. We're going to hang out there in a forward fold for a moment. Arrange your arms in a comfortable position. Just look at the toes for a moment. Can we get all of the toes to spread out even more? We get toes really well connected to the floor here. We're used to doing our toe wriggling exercises in standing sometimes or in sitting usually. What happens if we try them in a forward fold now? So can you do big toe down, little toes lifted, and then can you swap it to big toes lifted, little toes down? Is it possible in a forward fold? Can we try a few? If you can't quite get the toes to do what you want, your hands might be able to reach them. You might need to bend your knees a lot. That's fine. Have bent knees. Good. Try a few more of those little toe alterations. Good. And then everybody spreading out the toes, everybody softening the knees, if not necessarily bending them, make sure they're at least soft. I would like you to bring your hands to your hips, point your elbows to the ceiling, and then we're going to use a nice long spine to come up to standing. So lengthen out the back body and follow those elbows up towards the ceiling, coming all the way up to standing when you're ready. If you would like to rearrange technology momentarily, then do. And then we're going to find our way to a lovely steady standing pose on the mat. So anywhere where you can have soles of the feet lovely and spread, heels hip width apart, outer edges of the feet parallel with each other, and midline of the foot, so between the second and the third toe, pointing forward. Let's release the arms, relax the arms, heavy hands, shoulders lovely and relaxed, crown of the head reaching up towards the ceiling. We've got lovely length being created from the Soles of the feet right up into the crown of the head. Keep that length and turn the chin to the right. So we'll look over the right shoulder. Bring it back to center and turn the chin to the left. Back to center and lean the right ear to the right shoulder. Do keep shoulders down. And then back to center and lean the left ear towards the left shoulder. Back to center. Drop the chin down to the chest. Do remember to keep the chest lifting up towards the chin. And we'll draw our little smile, our little semicircle across the front of the chest. So go from armpit to armpit with the chin, keeping it tucked in as it rolls from one side to the other. Spot on. Very good. Back to center, lift the head. So we're looking forwards. And for the next few actions, if at any point you need a break, so if you're feeling a little bit lightheaded or a bit dizzy at any point, take a break wherever you are. So if we're standing, if we're in a forward fold, doesn't matter. Just have a break, have a rest wherever you are before moving on to the next thing. We just want to make sure we don't unsettle ourselves and end up toppling over. All right, so we've got the feet hip width apart. We've got ourselves nice and tall, nice and long. We're going to add the arms in. We're going to take the arms up above the head as well. And we're going to soften the knees. Keep the spine long, take the arms wide, dive over into a forward fold. We're coming all the way down towards the mat. We're going to see if we can get the fingertips to the floor. You might want to hang out here for a breath. When you're ready to come up, we want to reverse the action. So keep the spine long, keep the knees soft, take the arms wide, reach out and then up. Release the arms then down by the sides. So always the first few of those for me make me feel a little bit lightheaded, low blood pressure. So if that's happening to you, that's fine. It will pass. Don't worry. But just go careful with it. Be gentle. We're going to try a few of them in a row. So if there is any dizziness, pause when you need to. If you haven't got room to stretch out to the sides with the arms, come forwards instead. All right? Let's try a few more. Arms go up. We bend the knees. We breathe in. As you breathe out, diving over. Come down to our forward fold. You can take a full breath down here, a breath in and a breath out. Next time you breathe in, take the arms wide. Back is flat as we reach and lift all the way up to the ceiling. Bring the hands now down through the head center, down through the heart center and back down to the stomach. Breathe in, the arms go wide and up. Soften the knees, breathe out, diving over, forward fold. Take an extra breath or two, however many you need, and then breathe in to take the arms wide and up again, bringing the palms together above the head if they'll touch, and then down through the head, through the heart, down to the side. Once more if we can, breathing in, widen up. Soften the knees, breathing out, diving over. Once we're down, take as many breaths as you like there. And then to come up, it's a breath in with knees bent and arms wide. Up above the head, palms together, down and through. Once the arms are down by the sides, give yourself a little bit of a kick and a flick and a wriggle. Give it some movement. Marvelous. Okay, so my goal for this session is to give you a little something to practice for the next 2.5 weeks when we're not in class because Christmas break. So we're going to put together, we've already sort of done the warming up part. We're going to put together a little sequence we can flow through, and then we'll hopefully have some sort of freedom to move the body and do some extra stronger stuff on the end. I will get a little picture of the sort of the stick figures I draw, and I'll pop that on my website and in various places, so that if over the holiday break the fancy takes you, if you want to just say to your family over Christmas, leave me alone for half an hour, please, then you can lock yourself in a room, shut the door, and do a little bit of yoga practice. Perfect way to get some quiet time. All right, so we'll start building the sequence together. We'll do it bit by bit. This is the first bit. I'll show you. We've already done the arms widen up, knees bent, widen down. We're going to add in a lunge. So I'm going to take the right leg back, drop the knee down, make sure that knee is going to be lovely and comfortable, And then we're going to come up to a lunge, might have hands on the thigh, might do arms up to the sky. And then we come back to the forward fold by stepping that back foot forwards and coming wide and up again with the arms. The hands come down. And then we're ready to go again on the other side, widen up, widen down, left leg back and forward and then all the way up. Okay, so I'll talk you through it. Let's do it together. Let's start at the front edge of our mat. So we've got some space behind us because we need to step back into something. If you think your knee's going to need some padding for that lunge, have it there. Use it, get it ready. Feet hip width. When you're ready to go, breathe in, widen up. Soften the knees, breathing out, widen down. Once you're all the way down in forward fold, right leg is going to step back. Let's get that knee down on the floor behind us, and we're going to lift up to a lunge. So you can walk the hands up onto that front thigh, or that's it, maybe arms are coming up above the head. Perfect. Let's bring it back down with the hands. Use the fingertips on the floor to help you balance and step that back foot back in. We're going to forward fold again. From forward fold, taking the arms wide and up, all the way up. That's it. Bring the hands down through the head center, through the heart center, back down to the side. Take a resting breath here if you fancy it. And you're ready to go on the other side. Soft knees, arms wide, diving over as we breathe out. Left leg this time, step it back and drop the knee down. Might feel different on this side, just see how you go. Arms might come to the thigh or to the sky. And then we bring the hands back down. So we've got some balance there to step the back foot forwards. From there, taking the arms wide and up. And then coming down through the head center, through the heart center. Arms to the side. Let's go again, once more. Breathing in. Breathing out. Step the right leg back. Knee down for the lunge. Lovely lunges happening already, very good. From there, forward fold. Good, from the forward fold up to standing. Once more on the left leg. Some of you know this stuff really well already. If you've ever done a flow class with me, you'll start to recognize this fairly quickly. Very good stuff. Lovely lunges, all Anjanasanas. And then once you've done your lunge on the left side, we step back to forward fold. From the forward fold, we come all the way up to standing again. Once we're all the way up to standing again, let's release the arms down and through. Once they're there, we'll give everything a lovely shake and a wriggle out. So give it some movement, give it a bit of a bounce around. Okay, these are looking great already. So I'll show you a quick demo of the next bit. It's a downward dog. It's a pose we've already done today, but there are a couple of options of how we get there. So we're just going to add on the downward dog at the end. So we go widen up, widen down. We step a leg back, the knee comes down. We do our little lunge, whatever version of it we fancy. To get to downward dog, you've got two options. First option is hands and knees, tuck the toes, downward dog. Similarly, to come back to the lunge, hands and knees, whichever leg is leading, steps forwards, and we head back to the lunge. And then we go to forward fold and all the way out and up. However, you might want to do this all in one go. So you might want to go back to the lunge and then tucking the back toes, straighten the leg, step all the way back in one go. So that's option 2, is to step back all in one go. We did that comfortably. You might be able to step forwards all in one go, dropping the back knee, lunging again on the way out. All right, so I'll talk us through it as we do it. Just remember there's 2 options to get from the lunge to the downward dog. Okay, so when you're ready, front edge of your mat again. We're going to start ourselves with feet hip width apart, arms by the sides. We're standing tall, so get that grounding, spread the toes, lift the crown. Breathe in, take the arms wide and up, bend the knees, and diving over, forward fold. Find your way to the floor. Perfect. All right, right leg back for lunge. Drop the knee down. And lifting up, we've got some length in the spine. Open the front body. Bring the hands back down. And now it's option 1 or option 2. So hands and knees to downward dog, or one big step to downward dog. Once you're in your dog, paddle it out, maybe a little bit of movement with the legs. And now we want to get our right leg forwards between the hands again. So one big step or hands and knees. If that right foot doesn't quite make it to the front edge of the mat, pick it up and move it. Get it where you want it to be. Once we've done our lunge there, step it forwards with that left leg. So we've got ourselves back at the front edge of the mat, ready to breathe in. Come widen up. Breathing out, hands come down. We're ready to go on the other side. Breathing in, widen up, bend the knees, diving over, forward fold. Now with the left leg this time, step it back. Knee down for the lunge. Good. Let's find our way to downward dog. So option 1 or option 2. One big step or hands and knees. Good. Once you're in your dog, get ready to come back out. Left leg. Coming forward, so either hands and knees to lunge or one big step. If the foot doesn't make it to the front edge of the mat first, try pick it up and move it. From the lunge to the forward fold, and from the forward fold all the way up to standing. Nice soft knees. Good. Okay. Those look great. Let's just do one more. So just a little bit more energy in it. If you know this really well, go for it. Do it. When you're ready to do the other side. So we lead with the right leg again and lead with the left leg again. See if we can go from our standing pose to our forward fold, to our lunge, to the dog, and then all in reverse, back through the lunge, to the forward fold, back up to standing. Linking some poses together, a little bit energetically, a little bit aerobically. Great. Once you've done it with that right leg leading, do it with the left leg leading. Perfect. Lovely control. Very good. Lovely forward folds, really nice. Excellent. Not rushing to get anywhere in particular. Once you've finished, you might just want to shake some stuff and wriggle some things out. You might need another forward fold. You might want to do some twisty bits. You haven't done much twisting for a while, so you might want to do some twisty bits. Up to you. Don't rush to finish. If you're still working on through, still plugging away, keep going, keep breathing. Great. Okay. Now comes the really fun bit, all right? So we found our way to downward dog and all the way back out. When we're in our downward dog this next time, we're going to add in a little bit extra, all right? So I shall show you what that looks like. In a moment, we'll do this together, but for now, let me just show you. We go, next time we get back, so we're just on our lunge, we hit downward dog, and we're going to turn our dog into a plank. So you might need to wriggle the feet back a bit further to get yourself longer. Find your way to a plank from your dog, and then we drop both knees to let the hips drop forward. So we're doing a little back bend. The trap here is to sort of sink into the shoulders and be a bit like, don't do that. Push up through the shoulders so that we're opening the chest. I'm keeping my toes tucked, but you might want to flatten out the feet. Knees are definitely down now. And then we come back up to downward dog by sinking the hips back to the heels and pushing all the way up to downward dog. Once we're at that downward dog, we can go back out again. So it's back to our lunge, which goes to a forward fold, which comes all the way up to standing. All right, so let's come down to hands and knees. Let's find our way up to downward dog, and we'll just have a quick practice of that little middle section. So Once you've found your hands and knees, tuck the toes, lift up to downward dog. Make sure you're going to be long enough because we need to come to a plank. We're going to bring our shoulders over our wrists. Once you're in your plank, just take half a breath though. It doesn't need to be a full breath, just a breath out or just a breath in to get there. And then drop the knees down, keep the chest lifting up towards the chin, and we'll do a little back bend. You don't have to drop the hips that far forward, just a little bit will do. And then all the way back to our extended child pose. The hips go back towards the heels, tucking the toes, push back up to downward dog. Can we do that one more time? Can we go from dog to plank? From plank, knees down, back bend, and then back to downward dog. One more if you got it. You don't have to, but one more if you're feeling strong. Give it another go. Plank, knees down, back bend, downward dog. These look great, lovely, really, really nice. Fab. All right, from this downward dog then, just back onto the hands and knees. From the hands and knees, just a moment in child pose, so hips to heels, forehead to floor. Give the hands and the shoulders a wriggle and a rest. This is strong stuff, very well done. Fantastic. Once you've given yourself enough of a wriggle and a rest there, we'll come back to hands and knees or up to kneeling so that we can step back up to standing. So one leg at a time. If you prefer, you can come through downward dog and forward fold. However you want to get there. Heading up to standing. Marvelous. Okay, so let's add it all together. We're going to do it all at once. We're going to lead through on the right leg and then straight away through on the left leg as well. So a bit of extra aerobic work. Let's do it. Let's get ourselves to the front edge of the mat. Make sure we've got that space behind us. Feet hip width apart. Knees are going to bend, arms come widen up, and we're diving over. Find your forward fold. Right leg leading first, take it back, drop it down, knee gently to the mat, come up to your lunge, hands to thigh or sky, and then we're coming back to downward facing dog. So option 1 or option 2 to get to your dog pose, either's fine. Once you're there, let's do our little mini sequence in the middle. So we go to plank, we drop the knees, we do our little baby back bend, and then we're back to a downward dog. Once you're back in the downward dog, you might need to make it shorter again so that you can step the right foot forwards, get it between the hands. Drop the back knee down. Lift up to your lunge. Find your way there. Arms to thigh or sky. And then forward fold. It's a big step forward. From there, arms widen up, all the way to standing. Hands come down through the head to the heart to the floor, and then we're going up for another round on the left side. Breathing in with the arms, lifting, breathing out, forward fold. Left leg back first this time. That's it, good. Find your lunge on that side. Very nice. Lovely. From the lunge to the dog. From the dog to a plank, from the plank, knees down, back bend, and then from there, we're going back. Good, lovely, everything in reverse on the way out. You got it, you know what this is now. Full sun salutation. Perfect. Good. Don't rush to get there, we're leading our way out in our own time, at our own pace. Once you're back up to standing again, you might benefit from some movement, from a wriggle. Very nice. All right. So we're going to go through one more time. I'm going to do it with you, but I'm not going to say as much. So you know it now. It's from standing to the forward fold. We lead with the right leg, lunge, dog, plank, knees down, back bend, dog, lunge, forward fold and up. So you know it now, do it. If you get lost, if you get to a place and you think, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing next, I don't know which leg I'm on, doesn't matter, just pause, just hang out, whichever pose you're in, wait for the next pose to arrive. It will summon itself eventually. All right, we're going to go through it then in your own time. If you're feeling brave, if you're feeling bold, do more than one of those little mini sequences on the floor. floor. So if you're doing a dog plank, knees down, back bend, maybe do 2 or 3 of them if you're feeling strong today, if you're moving fast. Okay, so when you're ready, right leg's going to lead. I'm going to do it at our own pace, in our own time, using whichever version of it we're liking, whichever version of it is working. Like I said, if you're enjoying this middle bit, this flow, you might want to do some more of them. Or if you're familiar with it from doing flow classes with me, you might want to do the stronger version with the knees lifted. It's up to you. Remember, we're leading once with the right leg and once with the left leg. Do everything right leg leading, and then do everything left leg leading. Looking good. There's some lovely shapes happening. Nice lunges, good dog poses. We're all at different speeds. We're moving at different paces. One of the benefits of practicing on our own, in our own space, we're not distracted by what other people in the class are doing. We're not quite as distracted by it. It means we're not comparing ourselves quite as much to the other people in the room. So you can work with your body, do the practice your body needs without feeling pressure to move or look a certain way. Doing a lovely job. Once you've got yourself up to standing for this final time, we might need to readjust our mats or our technology again, because I'd like you to come to a bit of a wide-legged stance. Not hugely wide, we're not going for sort of the absolute maximum stretch we can manage, but going for a bit of a wider stance on our mats, perhaps. Good. Okay, so, open myself a little bit. Bit of a wider stance on the mat, which might mean, we need to turn the toes out a little bit just to keep comfortable knees. So play with your toe position. What orientation do we need with the feet? Especially because we're going to gently start to bend the knees. So we're going to do some experimental knee bending. So try one side, try the other side. See what happens as we bend the knees. Are they happy with the knee bend, or does it feel a bit sort of twisty, a bit weird? Check in with your knees and see that they are, when you bend them, they're going in the same direction as the feet. We shouldn't try and realign our knees to match our feet. We should realign our feet to match our knees. So if you're looking down, you're thinking, my knee's going this way and my foot's going that way, then probably get your foot more towards where the knee is going. So you figure it out, try and find that alignment, the shape, the alignment, the direction that works for you. And then, feeling a bit brave, go wider, take up some more space. Experimental little one leg at a time, and then both legs. Are they going in the right direction? Are both knees tracking in the same direction as the feet? Good. All right. Okay. Straight legs for a moment. Reach the arms up, straight arms if we can. And then we're going to bend both knees and both elbows. So we're softening down into a little squat. We're trying to get knees and elbows bent, making a little goddess pose, a little victory pose. Try not to have the elbows too far forwards here. See if we can get the shoulders and the elbows back. And maybe even allow them to release down. And then lift up. So straighten the legs and the arms. We're getting some extension. And then release them down. Let's try it once more. So Go as slow as you like to get into it. Arms go wide enough. Straight legs, straight arms to start with. Make sure your knees are going to track in the correct direction. Bend the knees, bend the elbows, sinking down, making your little goddess. Beautiful. Lovely. These look amazing. One more. Stretching up, we'll release down, have a little break, and we're going to go one more time. I'm just going to turn this off sideways for you. So when you're ready to go in for a final time, arms come up, we bend the knees, we sink down, and then there's that trap we can fall into, which is to stick the bum out and tip the chest forward. Do not do it. Tailbone tucking under, chest lifting up, sit back and down into an imaginary thing, imaginary chair. You'll know you're doing it right because it'll probably feel a little bit wobbly. The balance has to work a little bit harder, and we're sitting back far enough. Good, lovely stuff. Let's reach it up. Stretching arms, release them down, and then carefully, slowly, heel toe the legs back in together. Once we've got our legs back in together, let's give ourselves a little bit of a kick and a flick and a wriggle out. Excellent. All right, so we're now going to come back down to the hands and knees. So you might want to do forward fold, downward dog, hands and knees. You might want to go forward fold to hands and knees. It's up to you. Find your way back to your comfy hands and knees position. Once you're there, we're going to do some wildcat. So that's that skipping rope action that we do sometimes with the crown of the head and the tailbone being two ends of the skipping rope. The spine is going to act like it's a little skipping rope, and it's going to see if we can do some skipping for the double dutch. Do be aware of what's happening in shoulders and neck and head. Skip our skipping rope t'other way. We can. Let's see if we can go the other way with our little skipping rope actions. Feel free to let as much of the body get involved with this as you like. Shoulders, hips, head, neck. Good. Really nice movements, full of expression. Very nice. Good, Sarah. I like it. Excellent. Okay. Back to center, and we're going to do a little twist here. We're going to thread the needle. So, from your hands and knees, your square or your box position, take the right hand behind the left wrist and start to come towards the floor. We want to try and get the right shoulder all the way down to the mat. You might not quite get the right shoulder all the way down to the mat. It might be the right side of the head that hits down first. You might be able to get both down. If this feels really tricky, make sure that you're not too compact. We don't want the shoulder on the floor right in front of the knees. We want a bit of space. We want to be lengthened out and long. We want to be able to keep the spine extended. Good. Lovely twists. Let's try the other side. Push back up onto hands and knees. Find your box position. Do the other side. That's it. Yeah, left hand behind right wrist. Very good. Twisting out. Perfect. Looking great, gang. One more breath on this side. Then bring it up to hands and knees. From the hands and knees, let's sit it to one side with the hips. Swing the legs around in front. Grab your blankets and stuff, your tops, your socks, your jumpers. And we'll head down onto the mat. So lying down with the spine, make yourself comfortable now. So going straight into some relaxation because we had our little twist out. If you feel like you want a little hug and a rock before we completely come to stillness, then of course do. We're a fan of our forward fold before relaxation. Give yourself that squeeze. And then once you've got yourself settled, once you've found your way to whatever version of Shavasana you're doing today, so whether that's feet flat, knees bent, or legs extended, whatever version you want to do today. A couple of you are staying for the flow class, so if you want to do your relaxation seated, that's absolutely time as well. You want to keep that energy, that warmth in the body for that second practice to do. Up to you. And then once you've found your way to a lovely, comfortable supine or perhaps semi-supine position, I would like you to take your attention back into your body, and I want you to find all those places that you have contact with the floor again. So, same as we did right at the start of our practice, start at the top of the body. We're going to have a little check through. We're going to start right at the crown, and we're going to move down the back body, finding all the places that we are connected to the mat. Once you've got all the way down to the bottom end of the body, work back up from reverse. Start at the bottom of the body and work all the way back up. Noticing all those places you have some connection to the mat. Once you've found all those places that you're connected to the floor, I would like you to make those points of contact that you've found bigger. All those places where you found some extra grounding, some better connection to your mat. See if you can make them bigger. See if you can get them to spread out. If it helps to move through it, you can start at the top of the body and focus on the first point of contact you find there. Encourage that one to be bigger. And then moving down the body, encourage that next one to be bigger. One bit at a time, checking through the body and seeing if you can find any more grounding. So everywhere that there is some connection to the earth beneath you, the floor beneath you, see if you can make it bigger. See if you can spread it out a little further. The more connection we have to the floor, the more grounding we can find, the more relaxed the body can be, the heavier we can feel, the more we can let go. Just for our last minute, honing in on those points of contact. Letting them spread out even further. When you're ready to start moving again, begin small. Start small with fingers and toes. Get your wrists and then maybe ankles involved as well. If you'd like a stretch here, we take the arms up and over the head to the floor above you, and they have a big stretch back there. If you've got the space, you might want to stretch the legs away in front of you and find some length there as well, pointing toes, maybe flexing feet. You may very well want to bring the knees in over the chest for a hug and a rock or a happy baby. When you've taken what you need, find your way back up to sitting. So you can roll to one side, you can roll backwards, forwards, however you want to get yourself there. We'll see if we can find our way up to a comfortable seated position. Once we've found our way to that comfortable seated position, making sure we've got as much padding and grounding as we can get or as we need. We're bringing the fingertips to the floor, either side of the hips. And then our last stretch to seal our practice today is going to be a breath in to take the arms widen up, arms together. As you breathe out, bring the hands down through the head to the heart. Once the thumbs are tucked in towards the breastbone, get that chest lifting up towards the thumbs. Finally, we bow the head down towards the hands. And we'll finish there for today. Thank you very much, gang.